According to classical economic theory, people act rationally and make the most beneficial decisions for them. But behavioral economists disagreed. They believe that it is impossible to ignore the peculiarities of the human psyche. Our mind works according to its own laws, which can hardly be called logical and rational from an economic point of view. In today's video we will talk about the financial traps which our own mind drives us into, so try to avoid them as much as possible. So subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Number 1. The fear of loss. We are much more afraid of losing something than rejoice at acquiring something new. Think about it. Which news will impress you more, one that your salary increased, or one that this year you will not receive the expected bonus? Experiments confirm that we feel loses more strongly. Remember the website of any course, where every now and then, the message "only 10 places left" appears. We are afraid to miss the opportunity, and that's how we make an impulsive purchase. And now let's move to the second point. Status quo bias. This effect is partly related to the previous one. We feel better psychologically when things remain unchanged. The thing is that any changes, even positive ones, are stressful to our mind. We would rather stay with our foul in hand than try to change something. Answer a simple question. How often do you change your mobile operator? Over time the tariffs of the old operator grow, and more profitable offers for new customers appear on the market. But we stubbornly continue to endure the disadvantageous, but familiar old operator. This can be explained by the reluctance to understand the intricacies of the new tariff, but numerous psychological experiments have proven that the true reason for such behavior is the fear of getting in a stressful situation even if there is a reward in the end. Number 3. The Barnum effect. Think about the last time you read a horoscope. Even if you do not believe in all these predictions, it seemed for a second that they partially describe your life. If it sounds familiar, then you have fallen into Barnum's trap. The bottom line is that most people tend to attribute generic and vague descriptions as a characteristic of their personality and life. You probably already guessed, astrologers, fortune tellers and other predictors use this effect to the fullest. The problem is that all the formulations from horoscopes are applicable to almost all people without exception. You are a responsible person, but sometimes you can make mistakes. You like to have fun. Good news awaits you and others. The more positive the descriptions, the more matches we find. So you can read a prediction saying you are good to go shopping today, and all the items you buy will please you more than usual. The trap has worked, so welcome the unplanned expenses. Number 4. The money illusion. You tend to perceive the nominal rather than the real value of money. In other words, you are attracted to large numbers, although what is truly important is the purchasing power of money, the number of goods you can buy for a certain amount. When your boss announces a salary rise, you're happy that you're earning more. But you hardly think about inflation which eats that increase. And now, you can buy fewer goods with the new salary than with the old one last year, and your financial condition has not changed in any way. But the very fact of a salary increase is very important for a person because nominally you have become richer. Number 5. Anchoring effect. We evaluate the value of a thing based on the price quoted by the seller, and do not try to independently decide whether it is fair or not. This effect especially manifests in stressful situations. Imagine you decided to rent an apartment, the landlord names the price, you start trading basing on the mentioned amount, while it is quite possible that objectively the sum was doubled. But our mind lets us down, and we psychologically cling to the anchor of a quoted price. Number 6. Endowment effect. We tend to overvalue our property, and it doesn't really matter if you actually own the item. The main thing is to feel it's yours. If you have been to the market at least once, you probably came across this effect. Their sellers convince you to hold the thing in your hands, and make try it on by hook or by crook. As soon as you subconsciously feel the thing being yours, you are ready to buy. However, there is an exception to this rule. Experienced collectors, they are interested in getting the maximum benefit, and are more rational in choosing their purchases. Number 7. The sunk costs trap. Another feature of our psyche is a desperate unwillingness to abandon unprofitable business and move on. It is psychologically difficult for us to admit our losses, so we continue to invest in unprofitable stocks or building a house, because so much effort and money has already been spent. The effect of sunk costs is manifested both in business and everyday life. The example of General Motors is illustrative. The management believed that Americans would actively buy copies of Japanese cars. And despite the fact that sales clearly said the contrary, they continued to release a loss-making product for years, and the situation changed only with the change of the management team. An example of the same trap in a typical everyday situation: a wife does not divorce the unloved husband because we have already lived together for so many years. As a result, we can see an unhappy marriage and unwillingness to admit the obvious. Number 8. Expectancy effect. The more we look forward to something, the more we want it. The very fact of expectation and intrigue adds value to the product in your eyes. A vivid example is the presentation of new iPhones, which the company's fans every time look forward to. However, this effect also has a downside. With each repetition, its strength weakens. The excitement around new models is getting weaker. If earlier people queued up in front of the door to the store for several days, then gradually this event is perceived more and more calmly. Today we discussed 8 effects our mind tricks us. Now when you realize the nature of financial human behavior, how would you act next time? Drop a comment with your thoughts. Like this video, and subscribe so the bright side of life is always with you.